Hey everyone, welcome to War Thunder Ground Forces. It's been a long time since I put out a video in this. In fact, there's only been one or two, and those were before the thing was an open beta. So that was maybe last year or so. But anyways, I want to show you guys the T-50 here. It's a tank that you may be familiar with in World of Tanks, and I'm going to make a lot of comparisons to World of Tanks, even though it is hard to compare because the games are very different. The similarities stop at the fact that there's tanks. So, the T-50 in World of Tanks, you'd know it as a scout tank, you'd know it as a tank that's not very well armored, and that really you're not going to take anything out on your own very easily, in most cases anyway. So in War Thunder though, things are balanced a bit differently. The T-50 is actually a pretty good tank. I think at this point in this battle, I've got a few battles this episode I want to show you guys, but I think at this point in this battle I had the tank fully upgraded, and man, it is a decent tank. I might even go as far as saying it's overpowered. Mind you, I am a War Thunder noob all around, especially on ground forces, although I haven't actually played War Thunder ground forces since the closed beta, except for the live stream we had a little while ago, and that kind of got me back into it. I've had the itch to play since, and so I've been, instead of playing World of Tanks, a little bit, I've been playing this. If you ask me what my favorite is, I'm still going to stick with World of Tanks, but, I mean, this has its own thing. You know, and the games are very different, like I've said already. And now, in World of Tanks, you would never dream of taking down two tanks head-on in the T-50. However, this is War Thunder. There's a few there, and you might be noticing there is a few heads-up display things missing. There is no damage indicator on your tank. There is no damage indicator on the enemy tank. There is no icons above them, so you can't really tell enemies from friendlies. And there's no aiming stuff, and that's because this is a replay. In War Thunder, the replays aren't as good as the World of Tank replays. They're more or less made for just getting some pretty screenshots and stuff like that. But you can see in the top right corner there, the gold text, that mentions me. So keep an eye out for that. And there we go. Destroyed two of those tanks already. Not bad. I didn't even realize I destroyed them both right away, but apparently I did. And you can see they do disappear on their own too. And we're sitting in a square here. You can see it's outlined by the white square and the blue smoke, and that is the cap. So I've got to capture this, hold it for the team. I just captured it, so I'm going to move out. I'm going to move up ahead to the enemy's base. Up here, I'm going to stop at the corner, looking kind of both ways. I didn't really pay attention to the mini-map much that I would have when I'm actually playing the game, and it makes it a bit of a pain. It doesn't have that, but I tried to avoid replays where that wasn't too much of a pain, just because I know that not having any kinds of heads-up display really is kind of a pain for viewers. But I started to head down this way, and I decided, alright, so this isn't a spin out. This is me turning around quickly. I decided, wait, I'm going down towards my base. There's two different spawn points for each team on this map, and that was one of them for my team. And I decided, you know what, if I'm going to find somebody to shoot at, I'm just going to barrel down the enemy's team and the enemy side, and hopefully I can find someone else to shoot. The T-50 in this game too is also a very agile vehicle, of course, and that makes it pretty fun to drive compared to something like the KB series of tanks. And this is a realistic battle for those of you who are wondering. I know a lot of you probably haven't played War Thunder before. And just look at how this T-50 that I'm in, it'll survive a few shots. Aim into that guy's turret. I know that's not the smartest thing to do, but hey, with a gun on this thing, it doesn't matter a whole lot where I shoot. He's toast regardless. And I'm watching in-game, you can see as you damage enemies' modules, I'm watching them slowly get picked off with each shot. And now he's finally dead. You can see again in the top right corner there the gold text saying that he was destroyed by me. Alright, another one down. He's gone. His tank just went away. Oh, look, another one. Alright, and this one here was, I think, you'll notice when we get the kill message here, I think one of the guys I killed initially, and probably that guy I just killed too, right off the beginning when there was 2 versus 1. And look at his cannon barrel there. It's all messed up. It's he's no longer able to fire out of that thing. So he's really no threat. Now it's just a matter of time for me to pick him off. Aiming at some weak spots, and no, he's dead. Now, unfortunately, all good things must eventually come to an end, and there isn't actually any more enemies up here on this side. I end up looking around. I couldn't find any. I actually went right up to their spawn point. I sat there where I would have been able to watch them spawn, should they have actually spawned there. But moving on to the next battle, Now this battle wasn't as good. Now that last battle wasn't the best one I'm going to show you in my opinion. But you can see there's aircraft fighting above. Those are aircraft that can actually come down and bomb you. You have allies and enemies flying around on the map. Again, this is a realistic game mode here, so as opposed to the arcade or the simulator mode, the arcade mode, you wouldn't have aircraft in combat with you, as far as I know. Again, War Thunder noob here. And in the simulator, you really have a lot less options as to what you can see. You're stuck with the commander's view and like the gunner's view, basically, as if you were actually looking from the crew's perspectives. Now I just left the cap circle there. That base was captured, and I've moved on to go find some other prey. And look at this little thing. This looks like I'm trying to mess with the third-person camera here, but every once in a while it likes to switch back like that to first person on its own, which is a little annoying in the replays, but that's fine. Alright, this little bridge thing I'm going to try to park up on top of. I've got an allied T-50 going underneath the bridge there, or trying to go underneath the bridge. And, ooh, don't fall off. I'm the guy on the right there, by the way, just in case that wasn't clear enough. And I had to get my gun down low enough. I didn't quite have enough gun depression to hit some of the guys below me. I do get a few shots off on some of the enemies, and you might be able to see a couple up there where I'm shooting towards now, moving down. Me as well as my ally T-50 are both opening fire on them. And keep in mind, in realistic mode, it's not like World of Tanks. It's not just point your gun at the enemy and the game will automatically shoot a shell directly at them. Well, aircraft just dropped a bomb on us. Apparently that bridge is destructible too. That guy got lucky and survived, although if he wasn't in first person view at the time, he's probably thinking, what the heck was that? But we have no aiming assist really in War Thunder in the realistic battle mode, so I have to guess how high above my target I have to aim my gun in order to account for shell drop. And the T-50 it's pretty easy because there's not a whole lot of shell drop, but in some tanks there really is. Now I'm heading towards the battlefield here, speeding along. This is the same battle, just a little after respawn, and what? I tracked myself? On what? Oh, War Thunder. This is something I've noticed about War Thunder. It does have a few more quirks, cheap quirks like that, compared to World of Tanks, which, whatever, it's still in development. They have excuses. But about 30 seconds later, when I got my track up, decided to move on up. Kept speeding along, and that little bump there's a lot more of those bumps than you would expect in the game. And they fixed a lot of them since the closed beta. I've noticed there's been a few less, but they still do exist. And now I'm going to speed along again. I'm not going to slow down. I'm not going to worry too much about my track being blown off again by a little tiny micro bump. But let's see, can I get over top of these? I can. I'll have to remember that for the future. Alright, let's, okay, that wooden thing. Yeah, first glance from a distance, I thought that wooden thing there was a bit of a bridge for me to go across there, and it wasn't. Turns out there's a roadway for that right beside. But I'm going to use it for some cover, see if I can spot any enemies. Their spawn point is just slightly to my right and in front of me there, where all those trees are, to the left side of that little mountain. And, okay, I'm going to climb over this thing again. It worked pretty good last time, and crap. Well, I'm stuck. I can't move. I can't even turn my turret. I can't shoot my gun. I tried. Now it's just a matter of time. Will somebody come along and kill me, or will I be stuck here for the rest of the battle? I am kind of wiggling around a little bit, so I'm thinking, well, maybe, just maybe I can get free. And for some reason, my tracks aren't even moving, even though I've got the thing in full reverse. And I don't know why I can't turn my turret or shoot my gun, but I guess that's just a thing, the game thinking I'm in the air or something, suspended above the ground. And look at that. Oh, we're about to get ourselves free. We're slowly inching off. Track's still not spinning. Oh, look, the game's over. Well, that was a great use of about 3.5 minutes of my life there. But alright, this is a different battle here. The setting's a little bit different. You can see there's lots of smoking and smoldering tanks around here, all on fire. It looks very nice. And this is the game where I noticed, wow, War Thunder actually is very nice looking. If I have to say, if I had to choose if World of Tanks or War Thunder is nicer looking, I'm probably going to have to go with War Thunder. Now I'm trying to shoot down some aircraft. It's very difficult to shoot down aircraft. And they're shooting at me too. There's multiple aircraft around. But it is very possible to shoot them down. I've done it in the past, I've hit them in the past, but usually it takes a few tries. Or if they're flying directly at you, then you can get a good shot off at them. Otherwise, it is very hard to hit them, especially when they're not flying in a perfectly straight line. More shells flying past me. You can see the tracers. Ooh, and look at that. That, I believe, is a Stug. Let's see if we can take it out. Now, we've got an upgraded gun, which has something like, I don't know exactly, 110 millimeters of penetration at 10 meters away. And, of course, armor-piercing rounds. The farther you are away, the less penetration you have. I managed to kill the guy, as you can see by the gold text in the top right again. And there is more enemy back there. I know they're nearly impossible, if not impossible, to see. But during the actual game, I would have been able to see them. It's just unfortunate that the War Thunder replays work like this. I guess I'll have to get around to actually recording the actual battles every time I have a battle to show you guys. But there, you can kind of see a little bit of that enemy tank over there now. He's kind of moving up. I'm putting shells into him, doing a little bit of damage, and I slowly but surely do take him down. You damage modules a lot easier than you do in World of Tanks. In War Thunder, you don't have hit points on each vehicle. Basically, if you destroy the crew of the enemy vehicle or otherwise make it combat ineffective, such as, detonate the ammo rack, then the tank is done. It's toast. And there's another enemy up there. You can probably just barely see him. He's taking cover behind a rock. It looks like I'm unloading those shells into the rock, but oh well. Time for a new target. You can see I have an ally moving up there too. He kind of gives me inspiration to move up myself. Let's not cut across the trench here this time. I don't feel like getting stuck again. We'll use the roadway this time. And hopefully we don't track ourselves going across this time, but it is a pretty bumpy area. As you can see, my tank's getting thrown around pretty good. But look here how good this game is looking. You'll see in just a second when the enemy opens fire, the explosion effects, the tracer effects, it just all looks very nice. Hopefully YouTube doesn't destroy the footage too much, because YouTube is good at that. It doesn't have a very high bit rate, which means it turns very nice looking videos into meh looking videos. But you'll see too, every time I park and every time I drive towards the enemy, I'm trying to keep my armor angled, as I want to make that armor as effective as I can. Because remember, War Thunder, World of Tanks, whatever, if your armor is sloped, it's effectively more armor than it really is. So you're best off sloping it as much as you possibly can. Although keep in mind, if you slope too much, you're going to make it easy for enemies to penetrate your side. Depending on your tank, you're going to want different amounts of angling. Now this guy, I'm trying to aim for that weak spot to the right side of his gun, his left, my right. I'm going to try to take him out. He is a dangerous target though. I got lucky that he didn't kill me. He was doing some module damage. You can see my suspension's damaged. I've got several enemies shooting at me. That is the enemy spawn point right there where they are. So I can expect some more enemies. And ooh, look at those purple tracers. That's pretty. Flames going on. Let's go in for the ram. This last shell right there, I fired just as I'm hitting him, does appear to take him out. And just so you know, shells can fly through destroyed enemy tanks, directly through them without being slowed down. However, I'm getting shot from behind. However, you can still physically ram enemy tanks that are dead, or allied tanks. So you can't use dead tanks for cover from shells, but you still have to make sure you don't drive into them, which is kind of silly, but whatever. Now there was someone shooting at me behind. My vehicle's getting damaged. That guy that was shooting at me from behind did a little bit of damage, hurt my crew, damaged my engine, transmission a little bit, I think, and really just made it hard to navigate. However, that tank there is a knocked out tank, so he's no threat to me. Looks like the guy that was behind me is no longer there to be a threat. He's probably dead. Alright, there's explosions going on. I'm seeing stuff on my mini-map. There's an enemy. And, oh, I could have swore that one went right through him, but okay. Let's better aim it. Put one on the side of his turret. And in-game, I could see that that one had taken out his commander. Ooh, hello, aircraft crashing in the background. That adds for dramatic effect. Put a few more into the side of him. See if we can't take him out. He's got some more friends spawning in around there, so I've got to be careful of that. Looks like he's dead. My allies got him. Oh, look, another enemy. Ha-ho. Let's put that one into his gun. I, again, want to destroy their gun. That doesn't seem like it's the easiest thing to do with armor-piercing rounds, at least. Maybe it'll be different with high-explosive type rounds, but nonetheless, he's dead. Yeah, this T-50, it is the tank to have. It's so much fun, it's fast, and it's well armored, and its gun, when it's fully upgraded, is just amazing. Let's put a few more shells into this guy. Oh, but the battle's over. That's unfortunate. I was hoping to take out a few more enemies. I was starting to get difficult. My tank was getting pretty beat up, but I'd like to continue on with that, but unfortunately I have no choice. The game does not give me a choice. Oh, and there's an enemy there. Let's ram him. Really did no damage to either one of our tanks, I don't think. Didn't even damage my track. Doesn't look like it took his track off. Might have weakened it, but we're going to put a few shells into his back. He's not even paying attention to us. He's too busy worrying about the people in front. And there we go. He's dead. You notice there with the gold text in the top right, I took out a heavy cruiser. I called in an artillery strike on one of the ships that were sitting in just offshore there, and the artillery strike actually managed to take it out. My gun on this tank can't do any damage to it, but apparently an artillery strike can. So if you see me briefly go to a more third-person view, kind of above my tank, then it's me calling in artillery. I can only do that once every couple minutes or so, but it is a really handy thing to have when used correctly. And now you're going to notice here, I'm kind of driving through all the bushes and the little trees and stuff like that. In the actual game, you would see all those little trees getting toppled over as I'm driving through. The bushes would lay down. Everything would look very, very nice. If I just barely skimmed a small tree, then it would kind of get pushed over just sideways a little bit, whereas if I actually hit it, it would just get plowed right over. Some of the bigger trees, though, you can't, like the bigger ones you can see around right now, I can't just simply drive over them, at least not in this tank. I'm not sure if that changes for bigger ones, but whatever. And that's dug up there. Looks like our ally took him out. We got the assist on it, though, which that's good because he was face-to-face with the thing. He was under a lot more pressure than I was. Although, looks like he found a little more trouble up there. Let's help him out. Aim for that hatch up above us, on top of the enemy's tank. Top of his turret. We were taking some fire there, so I need to turn around. Let's bounce off the tree. It's a little more difficult to control tanks in here than it is in World of Tanks. And there I am calling in artillery. There's two enemy tanks over there. You might be able to see them both a little bit. You can see the one shooting at me, and the other one's kind of behind some trees. But you will see him in a second. You can hear my artillery strike coming in. First off, artillery has to kind of send in some ranging shots. There, I killed one of the enemies. There's the ranging shot starting to land. And that means just a few more seconds, and we will have a lot more shells coming in. Although, look at that. I just killed both the tanks before artillery even got there. Oh, and there's artillery arriving late to the party. Good job, artillery. There is no artillery pieces like there is in World of Tanks. It's all off-site, and I just damaged my track. Good job. But it's more of an AI-controlled thing. You can call in artillery strikes if you have it unlocked in your tank. So typically you have to have a few battles in a tank at least before you can actually get artillery strikes unlocked, which is good. Alright, so now I'm going to move up here. This is towards their spawn point. I'm going to see if I can spot somebody. Maybe find an enemy tank. Otherwise, I have my sights set, which I'm not going to find anybody, by the way. I have my sights set on some artillery pieces, or some anti-aircraft, some AAA pieces that are just over the hill here on the edge of the map. And I've decided I'm going to go for them, so I'm going to pick up some speed here. I'm going to hit 60 kilometers per hour, and I'm just going to speed right on over. Hopefully I don't hit any one of those weird bumps here, because that'll rip my track off. And I felt that this clip here was a pretty, I don't know if good's the word I'm looking for, a good ending to this video here as we wrap things up. I'm going to try to put a few shells into the AAA piece there. Most of them are, it's harder to aim on the move than it is in World of Tanks, I find. Alright, that one's done. There's two more up here. The first one you can see right here. That first shot misses. The second one here is going to damage it. And I'm going to decide to go for the ram. I don't know if that can even damage it. And whoops. Well, there's something you can do in War Thunder that you can't do in World of Tanks yet. So I'm going to call in artillery. I'm just going to put it right there. If I put it right in the middle of the two AAA pieces, like right where I am, that I might be able to take both of them out. But I didn't think of that at the time, and I actually wanted to kill myself at this point too, because there's no real point in me being in a flip upside down tank, and this is more exciting than just exiting to the garage. Alright, that one's dead. And come on, artillery pieces, kill me! Kill me! Artillery's arriving. Game's over. Oh well. We had a good run there. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to have some more of these videos out in the future. I know you guys are always asking for them. But anyways, see you later.